Alright, so Ultrabooks. A shell of the modern laptop today, being thin, light, and, well, modern laptops are, most of them are not durable. But you see here, I have a rare specimen from the very, very early days of Ultrabooks. Like, so early, it's like one of the first. Not the first, but one of the first, okay? I mean, this thing, even though it's an Ultrabook, since it was one of the earlier ones, it is extremely, extremely durable. And for what it is, it's pretty decent. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright guys, today we're going to be taking a look at this laptop. Now you see here, you might be wondering, what's this laptop so special about? What's so special about this laptop? Well, you see here, this is my new daily driver laptop. You can tell because it's already dirty, and I cleaned this thing like 2 days ago. Yeah. Alright, but anyways, let's go ahead and turn on this laptop and give it the features. So, you see here, this thing sports. Let me just go ahead and turn it on. A backlit keyboard. Hell yeah! I love backlit keyboards, alright? They are my favorite laptop feature ever, okay? Yep. And not only that, but it's like the cool automatic one, you know, that turns on when you use it. So, yeah, pretty cool. Also, if I sound a little off today, it's because I have a slight cold. Alright, let's go ahead and... Oh, yeah, another feature. Fingerprint. Let me just... Okay, I might have to click on sign-in options. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Windows is a little slow, you see. It's not the laptop's fault. This thing has a decent processor. I'll go and get on with it, though. But yes, it does have an Intel Core i5. Shut the heck up, Microsoft. No one likes you. Alright, but yeah. So you see here, as you can see, this laptop's pretty cool. So anyways, in terms of the screen, it is a 1366 by 768 IPS screen. So at least it's IPS, but it's still pretty low resolution for 14 inches, which is what this laptop is. And you see here, in terms of the specific model, I'll go and show that in the specs, alright? So yeah, you guys need to wait. But in terms of more features, it's got a track point. And it's also got the track buttons for the track point, which is pretty darn cool if I just don't say myself. I love track points, alright? Because, you know, it's pretty cool, you know, that you don't need to use it. I'm not very good at using it, but, you know, it's there. You can also disable it with the trackpad. So, yeah, pretty neat feature, I guess. And so, yeah, this is... Oh, yeah, also the webcam. It is a 720p 30fps webcam, so it's pretty standard for this era of laptops, especially HP. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this chassis is aluminum and magnesium. When have you ever seen HP laptop made of this quality? I already said the last video on this laptop. Let me just go ahead and, yeah, that one right there. So yeah. Still though, it's pretty crazy. This is a metal laptop, okay? It's not even cheap metal either. It's aluminum and magnesium, which, you know, pretty high-end metals, you know? So, yeah, this thing is pretty durable because of its metal. And, yeah, and also, I forgot to mention to you, there would be a sticker here that says Ultrabook, okay? Because this actually is an Ultrabook. This is from 2012, and this was, like, when Ultrabooks were starting to get popular, you know? Or, you know, when they were starting to, you know, actually become a thing after the MacBook Air came out. But it's not like this is a, you know, crappy Ultrabook. This is extremely durable, okay? Yeah, sure, it doesn't have a metal roll cage, but the chassis itself is the roll cage, because this is made of aluminum. So, yeah, pretty high-end stuff. This has seen some better days, the paint, anyways. As you can see, there's little chips all over, but in terms of scratches, there's no scratches, no scuffs, just the paint's a bit chipped, so, you know, I could just repaint this laptop, and it'll look good as new, alright? No dents or dings. Alright, but, yeah, also another bad thing. The final thing that I'll mention is that this has a display port, just one display port, like every single other one of these laptops, like the last laptop. So yeah, screen capturing this once again is going to be a complete nightmare, but I will be able to do it. All right. So yeah. Anyways, oh yeah, one final thing: the speakers. They were decent at launch, but they weren't that great. But you know. But these days they're pretty bad because they're pretty used, so yeah. Anyways, let's go and get on with the specs, shall we? Alright, okay, so this HP EliteBook Folio 9470M sports 16 gigs of DDR3 1600 MHz dual channel RAM, which pretty decent. It's also pretty fast. for this era. And the CPU comes with is an Intel Core i5-3427U, which is running at 1.8 GHz base with a boost clock of 2.8 GHz, which pretty decent clock speeds for a CPU of this tier. And it's got 2 cores with hyperthreading, which is 4 threads. It's also got a 500 gig SATA 3 SSD, which is a Samsung one. It's an 850 EVO. It's pretty decent and won't bottleneck anything on this laptop because the CPU is going to be the bottleneck. And in terms of GPU, we have the legendarily terrible Intel HD 4000. Now, it wasn't the worst thing Intel ever put out. No, that goes to the Intel HD 2000, which, if you know what that is, that gives people nightmares still of using that thing back in the day. And also some other notes: the CPU and GPU do not throttle, even though it's running at like the heatness of the sun, like boiling temperature. Okay, the sun is not at boiling temperature. That would be honestly kind of funny though. Okay, never mind. I'm getting off topic here. But yeah, CPU and GPU do not throttle, even though they look like they are. But they aren't, okay? I double checked. Alright, so guys, you join me here for the general usage benchmarks, alright? So, first off, let's start with the basics here. YouTube video playback. So, currently it's at 360p, that's its default. Let's set 1440p 60. This i5-3527U or whatever it was, should be alright. Oh, it's definitely floored. Yeah, alright, okay. Let's open up stats for nerds and playback. I think this may be a little too much. Yeah, I think this is a little too much for this computer. Alright, let's see here. Come on. You can do this. Oh! It's dropping 0? Holy crap, this might be able to handle 1440p 60. Oh, it's dropping. Okay, yeah, I think 1440p 60 is just a tad too much for this. You can see that the CPU is floored over here. Yeah, 1440p 60, it's almost usable. 1080p 60 is where it's at, though, because if I go over to 1080p, it's like 60 FPS. Yeah, and 1080p 60 for this 1366 by 760 panel is pretty good. So, yeah. As you can see here, we're perfectly getting, this is perfectly smooth, 60 FPS experience for YouTube anyways. For games, it's not gonna be so good. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and head over to apple.com, because that's where I benchmark all my websites now. Because it's just so demanding, because Apple loves to make sure that you can't view their websites properly unless if you're on one of their freaking overpriced Macs. Like, come on. Okay, let's see how long it takes to load YouTube. It did apple.com perfectly fine. Ooh, it's definitely floored, but it is loading. Okay. So, for general usage, we can clearly see that this i5 3rd Gen is perfectly fine for this kind of web browsing usage. And yeah, and honestly, that's pretty decent, alright? In terms of general usage, this thing is a solid pass, alright? And unless if you're doing, like, freaking AI stuff locally, you're going to be solid. In fact, this probably could handle AI. Maybe if you tried, but I don't really want that as a benchmark. That'd be kind of funny. But no AI benchmarks for now. Alright, but let's go ahead and get on with the gaming benchmarks, because that's all what you guys are actually here for, alright? And I'm pretty sure we're still sticking to the same benchmarks, although new benchmark games will be coming soon, alright? Anyways, guys, see you in the benchmarks. Okay, I don't even know what I'm saying here. Alright, but anyways, let's go and get on with the gaming benchmarks. Shall we? Alright, so starting off, we have an easy-to-run game here, which is based on the Source engine. We have Gary's Mod, running at 1366 by 768, which is the native resolution of this laptop, and we are getting a solid average FPS of 34, 1% lows of 15 due to some major stutters that happen every now and then. More intensive maps will strain that old Intel HD chip hard, but it does run with what I'm doing on screen. The game also looks decent, running at high settings, which is pretty good for this game. Overall, Gary's Mod is a pass, but I would turn down the settings to medium for a smoother experience. Next up, we have an old but gold AAA title game here with Crysis running at 1366 by 768 with the lowest settings selected. At these settings, the laptop is achieving a solid average frame rate of 38 FPS and 1% lows down to 19 due to some major stutters that happen occasionally due to the crappy Intel drivers. When in more intensive areas though, you may need to drop the resolution to hit a solid 30 FPS, but overall, Crysis is playable, even on one of the first Ultrabooks ever made. Next up, we have the extremely intensive BeamNG drive here, which is personally a game that I always play, and will definitely be playing on this laptop if I ever use it, which I do. We are running with the crappy settings at 640 by 40 standard definition with the lowest possible settings, which, yeah, if you can see on screen, it looks like complete crap. But we are achieving a playable average FPS of 29, and 1% loads down to 19 due to some minor stutters when loading. This is due to that slow processor. I mean, it is faster than the Pavilion G6, but not by much. The game is very playable, but looks like a game from the early 2000s, like I said. But BeamNG is the kind of game where 30-ish FPS doesn't feel the worst. Honestly, it feels kind of playable. A little bit input laggy, but playable because it's a single-player sandbox game. Overall, BeamNG is barely a class, but hey, at least it can launch the latest version, which on this channel we can't take that for granted. Next up here, we have a test for the memes. We have Wreckfest, which is a pretty demanding game. I mean, it was almost considered AAA at the time. And Wreckfest is running at the lowest settings with the grand resolution of 1024 by 768, which, yeah, that's kind of bad. The game looks terribly stretched and is running very poorly, even with these terrible settings, with an average of a whopping 13 FPS and 1% loads down to 8 due to major stutters. Overall, Wreckfest is not playable at all, even for single-player matches, as shown by my basically drunk driving. I mean, I was crashing left and right. In fact, at the end of the footage, it was actually hard for me to just capture enough footage before I died or got wrecked. But yeah, obviously, Wreckfest is not playable at all. You need at least 40 FPS for, you know, less amount of input lag, but, you know, a playable amount anyways. Anyways, on to the next benchmark. Next up, we have Brick Rigs. Now, you probably have never heard of this game, and yes, unfortunately, this is the last time that I'll be testing this game out, as it is obscure, and doesn't, you know, really, like, show us general performance. But if you guys want to keep this game in the benchmarks, type Brick Rigs down in the comment section, and if there's at least 10 people that say that, I'll keep it, alright? The game looks poor, as it is running with the lowest settings, with medium res scale, at 1366 by 760. But notice how there's a resolution scale? Well, it isn't actually running at 1366 by 768. Instead, it is running at a whopping 570p. Well, close to that amount. I don't know what the exact amount is, they don't tell you. And the game looks horrible, very blurry. At least the averages are decent, with them being 30 FPS and 1% loads down to 29 when spawning a new car. Overall, Brick Rigs looks very much like crap. I don't even think there's shadows with the lowest settings. But hey, it launches, and it ran decently, alright? Even if it does look like that. Anyways, on to the next benchmark. Next up, we have the famous Minecraft here, running at 1366 by 768 fancy settings with 5 chunks of render distance. The average FPS is insane, being at 101. But the 1% lows are pretty mid, down to 21. Sadly, increasing render distance spikes the CPU usage to a solid 100% constantly, and makes the game unplayable with that weak dual-core i5. It's a U series, so yeah, what do you expect? And any shaders will make that Intel HD 4000 suffer. And yeah, it will slow down to a crawl. Overall, Minecraft is playable, but could use some more render distance if we had a better processor. Next up here, we have Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, running at 1366 by 768 medium. This is the original, by the way, not the remastered. And we are seeing some decent averages of 71 FPS and 1% lows down to 54. More intense open areas will cause the frames to drop, but overall, Oblivion is very playable on the first Ultrabook. Not too much to say here. I mean, you want to see this thing run the remastered version? Yeah, ray tracing on an Intel HD 4000. Yeah, good luck with that one, buddy. On to the last benchmark. Last up, we have Driver Parallel Lines, which is a really, really old game. I mean, it's from 2006, and it ran on the old HP DV8000, which, go see that video. Link in the upper right-hand corner. Go see it now. Okay, but it's still relatively demanding for these old Intel HD chips, because, I mean, they're kind of crap. That's all I can say about them. Driver is running at 1366 by 768 with the highest settings without anti-aliasing, as that tanks our FPS down to the 10s and 20s. Overall, I don't have much to say about Driver. It runs great at all times. We could use some anti-aliasing, but like I said, way too intensive. It's a solid pass, alright? On to the conclusion. Alright, so overall, how do I feel about this Ultrabook? Well, it is pretty decent, has good build quality, and, you know, it runs the games I need to. I mean, Wreckfest was kind of bad, and BeamNG did kind of look like complete garbage, but yeah. Anyway, so bad news. You guys might have seen this short, which I think link will be in the upper right-hand corner. should be. But anyway, so basically what happened was the screen sort of broke, and this was the laptop. But luckily, I captured all footage before the screen broke. So yeah, good luck. So yeah, I am very lucky that it didn't break mid capture, or before the captures, because then it would have been a pain to capture the benchmarks. But yeah, anyways, this Ultrabook's pretty decent. It's got 600 CPU Z points, which I should include that as a benchmark. But yeah, that means that it'll handle most web browsing and basic tasks pretty darn well. And for maybe some very light gaming, like Undertale or something like that. But yeah, guys, anyways, this laptop did alright, okay? And, well, see you guys in the next video, okay? And, yeah, I do have a new intro and some new music. So, yeah, hopefully that'll improve, alright? Over time. But yeah, guys, anyway, see you in the next video, okay? And remember to always... Ha! Faked you out. But yeah, remember to always subscribe, alright? I'm not gonna yell anymore because it turns out that people don't like it when I yell it. It is kind of funny, though. Alright, but anyways, yeah, like I said, just end the video here, alright? This is a mess of an ending.